Hey, how you doing? Mel here with the Screencasting Wizard, helping you digitize your knowledge to get it online and web ready. So today what we're going to be doing, I had a question actually on one of my videos. A reader asked a question which I thought was a really good one because I had never done it before, so let's try it out here. So his question is, it's like, here's his question. I'm looking for a solution for recording dual monitors in separate videos, if at all possible. For instance, I want to show myself editing audio and then syncing it to a picture which is on another monitor separately. So his setup is he's got two monitors, okay? And the answer is yeah, there is. There is a way, and there's actually many different, or probably several different ways. But without going down the path of buying additional hardware or doing import-output ports and getting these, these audio panels and so forth. For basic video screencasting, we don't need to go that route. You can pretty much use it with your two monitors. So here's my setup. I've got, this is monitor number 1 over here, and then over here I got monitor number 2. The trick though is to have two software, so you got to have two pieces of software to do this. So I will say on monitor number 1, what I'm using here is this is Screenflow, that's recording this one here right now. And then over here on monitor number 2, I'm using Camtasia to record that. And I am also using a Macintosh platform, but this can also work even if you're using a PC platform. So the way you might be set up is, for instance, on one monitor, whether that's 1 or 2, you would have Camtasia Studio, which is the PC version of Camtasia for recording. And then on the other one, you might use another piece of software. Now, I think Camtasia is like the big gorilla out there, but you might use something like Screenr to do the recording on the other monitor, or you might even use GoToMeeting or Webex or GoToWebinar or MeetingBurner or one of these things to record on the other monitor. The other thing, the main thing is you got to have two sources, okay, or two recording sources. Now, the other thing that you're going to need to do is you got to be able to sync them up later on so you can sync them up in the edit. So just to prove to you here, it's kind of a trick to be able to say, hey, this monitor, I'm going to drag over to this monitor 1 text file over to monitor 2. So now we're kind of moving things back and forth, okay? So that's the thing, is you then got to sync that up. And the way you do that is basically after you've started the recording on one monitor and then you've started the recording on the other monitor, what you then want to be able to do is just basically do a loud, make like a sharp noise at the very beginning, and I'll show you why in a minute, and that could be as simple as a clap. For instance, like right here. Okay, it's as simple as that, and what that does is it creates an audio spike, and I'll show that to you in just a second. Okay, so now I'm back. I've stopped the recording on both Camtasia, which was monitor number 2, and I've also stopped it on Screenflow, which is monitor number 1. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm showing you monitor number 1 in the editing view of the Screenflow application. And what we're going to do here is you kind of have to pick which one, which editing software you like better. I happen to like Camtasia for Mac better, so I'm going to use that as my final editing tool. So all we're doing here in the other one, in Screenflow, is in this particular case, and you'll do the same thing if you're running a PC. You do this with your GoToMeeting or Screenr or whatever other tool that you're recording. Basically what you need to do is you need to export this video out into to a movie file so that you can then subsequently import that into your final editor. So the reason we clapped before is because see what happens here when we do that spike. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see where this audio spike is. Okay, so see these little wiggly lines? These are called audio waveforms. All right, so now I want you to take a listen. All right, right here. See that? See that where that little clap is? For instance, like right here. That's when I did the little clap. So what that does is it creates this waveform right here, in this case at about the 3-minute and 11-second point. Okay, so we just kind of know that. So in your other screencasting software tool, so in my case it's the Camtasia, there's also on that audio track is going to be a similar audio waveform. It's going to show up as a spike. And what you would then basically do is you import, you export this one from Screenflow in this case. We're going to export that out to a movie file. Then that movie file we're going to import into Camtasia, and then in Camtasia we're going to sync both of those little audio spikes up, and then both videos will essentially be synced up at that point. Okay, so in this case what we're going to do is we're going to export this one out from Screenflow. So we're just going to publish this, export to just a simple movie file, and I'm just going to leave it on my desktop for right now. And then we're going to scale this up to, I like to go 100% on all of this. All right, and then we're going to keep it at the highest resolution In this particular case, we're going to make it lossless. And what lossless means is it just loses less quality as it exports it out. So we're going to export that out in a lossless format, and then we're just going to wait around for it to finish. I'll come back to you when we finish it up. Okay, I'm back. So as you can see, we're finishing it up here. We're finishing up the export, and now it's done. All right, so we don't need Screenflow anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and close that puppy out. So we'll close that. And for grins and giggles here, what we need to do now is just basically find that, that video file. Okay, so now we're in Camtasia, and Camtasia is going to be my preferred editor. And basically all you want to do is take the video that you exported from the other software and import it into here, into Camtasia, right? So, so now this is the recording that we had in Camtasia. Let's go ahead and do that real quick import. I'm importing media. This is where I saved the one that came from Screenflow, and so we're going to import that in. It comes in as its own media file. Now, before I import that and put it onto the into the play track here, or the editing track, I want to show you where that other spike was in Camtasia. It got recorded. Remember when we did that clap? It got recorded in all your audio sources. It got recorded by Screenflow, and it also got recorded by the Camtasia software as well. And I think this is it down here. So let's go ahead and just zoom in and see where that little spike. I think this is it. Hold on. Okay, so that is. So see this spike, it's a little bit sharper than all of the other ones, but you pretty much kind of know where it is. You just basically listen for it. It'd be as simple as a clap. For instance, like right here. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so now we know that is a little sync point. And even in Camtasia, you can also apply little, where is it? You can actually apply a marker to that media point, so it puts this little green bubble right onto a little green dot. And so now over here in the Screenflow media, or the video that we exported from Screenflow that we then imported into Camtasia, we're going to add that to the playhead, to the timeline, right? And then all we need to do is find where that sync point was in that video, and we said it was basically at about the 3-minute and 11-second point. So let me zoom back out here. Okay, and this is why, by the way, it's important that you have that you have software, that your preferred editing software has the ability to create multiple video tracks and multiple audio tracks. In this particular case, I've got multiple videos and audios on basically across 2 tracks. So now we have to go find it. We said it was about the 3-minute 11-second point, and see where it says 3 minutes and 11 seconds right here? I think that's basically it right there. So let's take a listen to that. And in order to isolate that track from Screenflow, I'm going to take this other track, and for just right now, it's just a little trick that I do. I'm going to go ahead and just mute this other track, the one that's from Camtasia, and I want to isolate and just listen to the one from Screenflow for now. Here it is. For instance, like right here. Okay, so that's that little clapping point. Right, so I'm going to do that, and then on there, we're going to go ahead and add a marker to that media point as well. And then I'm going to unmute this other track that came from, that's from my Camtasia software. So bring that back up to 100%. Okay, so that's unmuted. So all we're going to do now is just move these tracks. Oops. Let me add a little piece of marker to this one. Oh. We're going to add to the media point. There you go. Add to media. There, so we put a little bubble on the media point, and all we're going to do now is sync those 2 points up. See how that works? I'm syncing up those 2 media points. Now I have both media pieces already synced up. So now all we want to do here is then you just can pick one audio source, and I guess in my case I'm going to go ahead and mute one of them. And then we're just going to go with the audio for, just pick one. Pick which video track you want to, or which video source you want to have your audio come from, and then just go with that, mute the other one, and then when you play it, they'll be both in sync. And that can be as simple as a clap. For instance, like right here. Okay, so now they're both playing, okay, but the thing is keep in mind you've got 2 video tracks here, okay? So this other one, what this means is that they're basically overlaying on top of each other. So this monitor 1, I'm going to minimize that. Right, so we drag that down, and then here's the other one that was monitor 2. So let's take that down, okay? So now let's take a look at this. So now everything is synced up. So remember when I was moving that one, the text file over from monitor 1 over to monitor 2? Here's what it'll look like when it's playing in synced up fashion here. Okay, so here it is when right about the 2-minute and 47-second point, I think, is when I was doing it. So let's go ahead and play it from there.
The other thing that you're going to need to do is you got to be able to sync them up later on so you can sync them up in the edit. So just to prove to you here, it's kind of a trick to be able to say, hey, this monitor, I'm going to drag over this monitor 1 text file over to monitor 2.
See how they're synced up?
Kind of moving things back and forth, okay? So that's the thing, is you then got to sync that up. And the way you do
Okay, so that's basically how you do it. Now, this wasn't a tutorial on how to use Camtasia or how to use Screenflow, but it's just the idea that what we're doing is if you want to create the effect of having one video that shows actually recordings from 2 different monitors, you're going to need 2 different recording sources for that. And if you're on the Macintosh, I recommend Camtasia Mac for one, and then Screenflow for the other. If you're on a PC, I recommend Camtasia Studio version 8 on one, and then something like Webex or Screenr or GoToMeeting on the other one as well, and then use Camtasia as your video editor because that's a more powerful one that you're going to have. All right, that's about it. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, if you're hitting me on YouTube, and if you hit me on my blog for the first time, hit the subscribe button below and make sure that you get updates on a regular basis. Okay, that's about it. This is Mel Aclaro with the Screencasting Wizard, helping you digitize your knowledge to get it online and web ready. Till next time, take care.